Howdy! How's everybody out there in YouTube land today? This is the second exciting episode of burning the wolf onto the wood slab. This is a great big old wood slab. Let me lay the ruler to this. Let's see, from one end to the other, it's almost 18 inches long, about 17 inches. And then crosswise, let's see here, get my ruler to it. It's about 9.5 inches across, so it's a big old wood slab. And you know, yesterday we did this part of the wolf being burnt onto the wood slab, and I see a little place there that I missed getting the plastic off of, so we'll scrape that off of there. There we go. That's put on with a little plastic pattern called Peel and Stick that I get from Woodburn Gourd Farms. That's all one word.com. They have all kinds of patterns and stuff. And you just peel these off, put them on your work, whatever it is you're wanting to burn or etch or whatever. I did the wolf head. Now I'm going to do the wolf body and two paws on this wood plaque. And I've got my wood burner all heated up here. Well, maybe not. Let's see. First, you got to turn on the regulator. This is a walnut hollow wood burner, and it has a regulator on it so that you can set the temperature, whatever temperature that you want on it. And you can get wood burners that don't have regulators. I covered this in my show yesterday. Those are strictly for wood. I like the one with a regulator, and that way it gives me a little more versatility on the temperature that I keep it at. If you want to do plastics and glass, you want it down here on the lower end, and for the wood, you want it up here at the higher end. I typically set mine for wood burning right between the orange and the red. Sometimes I have to bump it up a little bit, but for the most part, right there in the center between the orange and the red is the perfect spot for it. I'll cover safety a little bit while we're waiting for this to heat up. This rod down here that the bit fits into gets extremely hot, as does the bit. If you are going to change bits in a project, they come with all kinds of different bits that you can use in these wood burners. And if you need to change it mid-project, you're going to want a pair of pliers. You're going to want a metal or glass bowl. These unscrew out of the base, drop it from, unscrew it with the pliers, drop it into your glass or metal bowl so it won't burn nothing or melt anything. You take your new tip and you screw it in. And of course, I always highly recommend that you turn these things off before you go doing that, but they're still going to be hot if you've been using them. Okay, so that's a little rule of thumb for you. And you want to wait for the tip to heat up, the new tip that you put in. Since you just put it in, it'll be cold, and it doesn't take very long at all. Pretty quick, they heat up. Let's see, what else do I need to tell you? Well, I'll cover this tip. This is called a calligraphy tip, and I love the calligraphy tip. That is my favorite tip, and I use it for just about everything I do. It's a little curve on the end of it. Get it down there where you can see it, a little curve to it on the end. And that way you can turn it different directions to get different burns out of them. It's a very versatile tip, and I don't have to change tips a lot when I'm using that. You might want to have a little sandpaper, a little steel wool to wipe your tip off on. I've got this Abernet. If you wipe your tip off on that, get the carbon off of it from the wood and the plastic and whatever you've been burning, that keeps the tip clean, so it does a better burn for you. And with that, let's fly in here and let's see if she's hot enough to burn anything. She's getting there. She can be just a little bit hotter yet, but she's getting there. You can see that little speck that I did. And you just want to burn wherever there is a line on the pattern. That's where you want to burn. Don't be afraid to turn your work if you need to get a better angle on it. And when I turn it, I try my level best to make sure that you're getting a good angle on it as well, so you can see what I'm doing. Now, once I get all these patterns burnt in and the plastic off of them, the next step will be to figure out what I want to do with it. And that'll probably be the next show that I do, or the next video that I do, to show you what I'm going to do. I'm probably, I don't know, I'm leaning toward using some stain on the wolf and on the paws and the howling wolf down here, and then a different color stain on the background. That's what I'm leaning toward. Nothing etched in stone yet. It's an artist and a woman's prerogative to change her mind. I could paint them. I could just leave them alone and just seal them too. I'm not sure. I'm doing a little toenails on this paw here first. I got the toenails done on that one. Now we'll start in to his little bitty feet, his little toes. Reminds me, I don't know why it reminds me of this, but song that my daddy used to sing when I was a little girl about she left her little footprints in the snow. It's a bluegrass song. Kind of a sad bluegrass song, but you know, with it being winter and wolves outside and the snow and all, kind of reminded me of that song. My mind is a very strange place to hang out. I live in town. If you see prints like this in the snow, you're going to figure it's probably somebody's dog. Although I've seen rabbit tracks, lots of rabbit tracks, and cat. There's a bunch of cats in the neighborhood. Seen cat tracks. Freaked out a couple weeks ago. I've got a privacy fence around my backyard. And I went out one day and there was human prints in my backyard. Or somebody come in my privacy fence, and then was talking to some people at the wood carvers meeting. That was the day that the meters get read. They normally just do it all by computer, but apparently this month they had sent somebody around to read the meters. And instead of them letting me know that they was here, they just took it upon themselves, just walk in through my privacy fence into my backyard and invaded my privacy. My dogs could have been out back or anything. So I've gone to locking the privacy fence. If they don't like it, then they can come and knock on the daggone door. But I'm not going to have them coming in the backyard and getting bit or something and then wanting to sue me over it. They'll let me know when they're back there. Okay, there's 3 of the toes done. Come in here and grab this one. And I know they think they have the right to just go wherever they doggone please, but you know, I have a right to some privacy. We just keep working our way around the pattern. And like I say, you just touch the bit to the piece right on the black mark. I try not to drag them a whole lot. If you just touch it to the piece, it just burns right through the plastic and into the wood. You see how I just turn that calligraphy tip to whatever direction in that line I need it to go. And that keeps me from having to change tips all the time, fooling around. I can just keep burning. Okay, we got that foot burnt. Now let me get over here to this other foot. And there again, we'll start with the toenails. If you haven't checked out my Etsy store, by all means do that. The URL is in the description of the video for your convenience. I've got a lot of my artwork. I've got jewelry, dream catchers, my homemade goat's milk soap, fragrance oils, a lot of cool stuff on there. Weaving items. And there's more going up on there all the time. I've got another stack of things sitting over here by the desk that I got to get up on there sometime this week. If you haven't checked me out on Twitch, I do different projects on Twitch than I do here. And the URL for that is in the description of the video as well. Go over there and sign up for Twitch. It's free to sign up. A lot of cool stuff over there on Twitch. Everybody kind of steers clear of Twitch thinking that it's just for gamers, and that's not true. When you first pull it up, there's a lot of game stuff on there because that's how they started out. But it's an Amazon-run video channel or video site, however you want to word it. And there's a lot of creative things over there as well. I'm proud to be a part of Twitch. I'm also on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. I don't do a lot with them. I do a little bit with them. So you can look me up there. The URLs for that's also in the description of the video. If you like what I'm doing, give it a thumbs up. Share it on your social media so everybody gets to be creative and see how these things are done. I've heard a lot of people say, oh, I'd love to learn how to do that. Well, here's your opportunity. I mean, you can see this is not rocket science. It's a little precise. You have to stay on the lines. You got to learn what your limitations are with your tool, just like any other craft. But this is how we learn. Get a pattern. I mean, you can do a pattern with a piece of paper. And the way I do it, because, you know, these are a burning tool, is I will print off a pattern on a piece of paper and take a piece of carbon paper and a pencil. And then you put down on your surface the carbon paper. You put down your pattern. I usually tape down the pattern. And then you just draw the pattern. You know, stay on your lines, draw all your lines in. When you lift it up, it's transferred with the carbon paper onto the object that you're working on. Carbon paper is erasable, so, you know, once you burn it, if there's any little lines that you need to remove, maybe you didn't stay on the lines real good in a place or two, you You can always erase them. Now we got the second foot done. We're working on the Howling Wolf down here. Scoot that up a little bit so that you can see it a little bit better. Got a lot of fine lines on this little feller. So I'm trying to just be real gentle, putting the lines on him. You see how that just burns in just real nice. Come back up here and get his eye. Just using the tip of the burner to get the eye put in there. Define the ear a little bit. Just a little fur here on the back of his neck. Stand that up a little bit. Define it. Here's a little fur. Needs a little definition. Okay, and we'll come along his back. turn him just a little bit here. Hind legs and the tail. Funny how things that your parents said to you, or your grandparents even said to you when you was a kid, stick in your mind. And funny things, like working on this project will bring them back to you. Doing this wolf's legs here in the back. I remember my daddy, he used to talk about somebody. I don't even know who he was talking about now, but he used to say, Lord have mercy, he is crooked as a dog's hind leg. Get his little toes and the rest of the back of his foot here. And that gets that burn in. Now it's time to take the pattern off. So the first thing we do is we turn off the burner, unplug it, and we're going to set it over here to the side where the tip of it ain't touching nothing. Let her cool down. And then we're going to go to removing pattern. Every place that you burnt on that pattern is going to be a separate piece of pattern paper now. It all went down as one piece, but bringing it up is going to come up in a bunch of pieces. See that? You got the pad, you got each toe, you got each toenail, you got all the paper in between, and all that's got to come off of there. Why am I having grief with this? There we go. Get into the edge. And it's so thin that sometimes when you go to tear it up off of there, it don't come off in one piece. See that? Don't gouge the wood, you just get up underneath the plastic. Get hold of the edge of the plastic and pull it loose. There's one paw done. Now, if I can get it pulled off of me, get it in the trash can over here. Now, Get it all pulled loose from there. Every little piece of it. Be sure you get it off of the little toenails too. Okay. There's a little piece stuck there between the toe and the foot. There's that. Now, look underneath that. I'm pulling it off of the wolf. Okay, now I can give this a little think before the next show on what I want to do as far as painting or staining or what have you. And give me a day to look at it. Make a decision. But there we go. All right. And that is looking pretty good. Now let's see if I can get this up here where you can see the whole dadburn thing. Maybe raise her up high enough. Now that's pretty close right there. And it's looking really good. So far, so good. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you do, give it a thumbs up. And I guess there's only one thing left to say. That's Brenda's Crafty. Be like Brenda.